I can't believe I just did that without recording. What's going on YouTube? I'm Cooper, this is the Cooper Music Page, and today I'm gonna tell you why I quit guitar. I haven't really talked about it on here much, but I've only been a gigging live musician, singer-songwriter for about 2 years now. In fact, March 31st coming up was my very first live show. And before that, I had only been playing guitar regularly out at open mics live and whatnot for about a year and a half before that. So I'm relatively new to this guitar world and music world, learning things every day and practicing new things all the time, and loving every minute of it. Before that, however, I had 2 experiences with guitar that didn't pan out so well, and this is that story. When I was about 8 or so, growing up in a town outside of Chicago, my parents got me a guitar. Probably because I asked them for one and I thought I was going to be the next rock star. And like most things that I thought that I wanted in my life, I gave it up fairly quickly. Now I didn't know this at the time, but our neighbors were the family of the bass player for the Plain White T's. What's up, Mike? We weren't exactly friends. He was a lot older than me, so when I was young, he was in high school and having his band and going off to college and whatever. We have his old demo tape for Tone Deaf George, his first band before he went off to be with the Plain White T's, which was awesome, by the way. And his father was also a musician back in the day, and their basement was loaded with memorabilia. 50 to 100 guitars on the walls, records. It looked amazing. So his dad had told my father that he would give me guitar lessons. So for my very first lesson, I walked next door, got on the porch, and had my very first guitar lesson. And he showed me this note. And mine looked a little something like this. After about a half hour of trying to learn that one little thing, I decided that guitar was insanely hard and that I would never, ever, ever want to commit any sort of time to learning anything this hard ever again. Quitting time number 1. Until I joined the Navy. So in 2012, I joined the Navy, moved to Virginia, lived in the barracks, made some friends at work, and we hung out together all the time after work. So one day, one of our friends was going off to a mission. He's going to be gone for about 2-3 weeks. So his roommate, also one of my friends, said, hey, can I borrow your guitar and learn how to play guitar while you're gone? And he said, sure. So he called me up and he said, hey dude, I got a guitar. Let's learn how to play guitar and we can get so many chicks. So I said, yeah, I tried that. It's like super hard. Not gonna do that. So he said, dude, you gotta come down here and check out this video. It's not hard. All you need is 4 chords, and then that's it. So I said, that's it? And he said, yeah, that's it. Super easy. So naturally, I said, okay. So I went downstairs to his room, and he showed me Axis of Awesome, 4-chord song. You're telling me that I could learn 4 chords, 1 strumming pattern, learn every song ever known, and get massive amounts of chicks. Done. So a few YouTube videos later, we learned the basic chords, how to transition them, a few basic strumming patterns, and we spent our time practicing how to do these chords and transition between them and strum out songs. So about a week or 2 later, I came over to practice again, and he was like, dude, how are you so good already? We've only been doing this for like a week. And I said, So apparently I had been getting the muscle memory a little bit faster than he was, and being able to transition cleanly between the chords and not sounding super choppy when I was strumming and making it sound a little bit like music, as much as anybody can in those beginning stages that we all go through. So after getting those basic chords down, I figured, you know, this isn't that hard. So I decided to buy my very first guitar. Again, a nylon string, 3/4 size classical guitar at my local guitar shop in Virginia because it was the cheapest thing there. So I practiced some new chords, practiced some new strumming patterns, even learned some melodies through tabs, thanks Ultimate Guitar. And that was about the extent of my learning for that period of my life. And it worked. I was able to play some songs that people wanted to hear sometimes, and I was, of course, that guy at parties like, hey, I know how to play guitar. So there was no need to progress any further. So life got busy. Guitar turned out to not attract as many women as we had hoped. So the guitars I had acquired from other people quitting had just seemed to collect dust. Time I quit number 2. It wasn't until I moved to Las Cruces, New Mexico for my next duty station, where I went out with a couple coworkers one night and went to my very first open mic night. Now, I have seen bands play before, I have obviously heard music, but this was different. I got to see random people get called up on stage and cohesively play with a whole band that didn't know anything was going to happen beforehand and make it sound amazing. And it looked so fun. It was like they were speaking some other kind of language that I didn't know, that they can just get up there, say a few words, not even talk, and everything would just be cohesive and sound amazing and work together, and everything would just mesh like music. Now, I'm sure not every open mic is like this. Las Cruces is packed with talent in that town. And this open mic has a special place in my heart, and I wrote a song about it here. So I went to that open mic every week for a couple weeks, and finally decided it's time to brush off the guitar, relearn some of those things that I had learned before. At this point, it was about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and get together my very first song, Sublime by What I Got, that I was going to play at the next open mic. So of course I signed up. I was nervous. I'm sure I messed up something, but people enjoyed it, they clapped, or at least they were nice enough to clap for the new guy. And I was hooked after that. That feeling was amazing. So I went home, learned new songs, learned new chords, learned new progressions, eventually learned scales, eventually learned lead lines and boxes and modes and a little bit of music theory. And I started to apply it to different things over time. And that's really all that learning guitar is. But that is what pushed me to want to be at a different level than what I was. Seeing them at that open mic be able to hear something and go, okay, this is what I need to do to make this sound good, and just knowing what will work with what. Being able to do that on the spot at a given time at a moment's notice was an amazing talent to me, and that's what I wanted to be. So that's where I'm at right now, always learning, always trying new things, always learning new songs, listening to songs so much differently than I used to, hearing all the different changes, hearing all the different nuances in the music, just from learning that little bit of theory and little bit of extra stuff that you don't think about in your first couple lessons that really propel you into the next few levels of learning throughout your journey with guitar. And it's an amazing feeling, and I would recommend it to anybody. Moral of the story is that everybody quits guitar at some point or another. If it's something that's meant to be, you'll find your way back to it. I'm sure most people have that guitar sitting in their bedroom collecting dust that they haven't played in a decade, but they'll say, yeah, we'll get to it eventually. And if it's something that you want to genuinely pursue later, set aside 10 minutes a week, 20 minutes a week, move it on to 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. Pick up that guitar and get it in your hands. Even if you're not being a super productive practice session, even just messing around on the guitar, finding out some sounds it can make, can inspire you to learn new things and set aside more time to practice. So if you're thinking of quitting guitar, maybe you should. And not because you'll never come back to it or it's not for you or you're bad at it, but because it's good to have a break, clear your mind, think about other things for a little while, and then come back to it fresh with a new perspective at a different stage in your life. If you still don't want to do it, then great. You saved yourself a ton of money on equipment and pedals and all the associated stuff that goes along with this expensive hobby. And if you end up picking it up, getting inspired, and wanting to learn more, then that's good too. That's it for today, guys. Tell me what you think. Did you quit guitar? What brought you back to guitar? Or what are your quitting stories? And what inspires you to practice every day? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I put out new videos just like this every Monday, new live streams every Wednesday. And that's it for today. So keep on rocking.